It's me again. I hope you're feeling fab today. Thank you again for joining me on this YouTube and sharing my journey of just essentially rebuilding my life after 40. So if you're off to over 40, you are in the right place. You're just in the right place to hear firsthand what I'm doing and what I've done and what I've experienced on this journey. So if you didn't check out my videos, I have been recording every day. So go back and catch up. So one of the biggest things that changed while rebuilding my life is what I actually stopped tolerating. Not because I'm rigid. If you know me very well, I am not a rigid person, but because I am clearer. Um, so I stopped tolerating constant low level stress. So, meaning things that were unnecessary, like unnecessary urgency, things that might feel like they're quite urgent, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not. Always being on. I took a social media break. Um, I have the Soulful Expat, which is my Instagram, and I had some other accounts, and just the feeling of being on and also limiting the amount of people and things that I'm around. So that was very intentional. And then environments that feel very heavy. Um, I have really kind of stopped with all of that. Um, and I know that there's some things in life that you can't control, but making an effort to control the things around me was like super important. Um, the next number two was I stopped over explaining myself. And this is a big one because um, wanting to feel, especially as someone who has chosen a lifestyle that's not similar to anyone, let's say in my family per se, um, and not, achieving or having, I guess, what societal things, like, I'm not married, I don't have any children. So I know for me, feeling like I need to always explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I have made a conscious effort to not do that. Um, like trying to justify my choices, narrating my decisions, and softening the truth. And that in itself has been a practice. It's still a practice because the realization of knowing that I don't need everyone to understand me in order to trust myself has been really major. And it has been just being able to say something and then stop after I say it. But as I said, it's something that I continue to work on. At three, I stopped saying where I felt, excuse me, stop staying where I felt undervalued. So, I just talked about leaving, finishing a contract at a job, certain dynamics with people, and even in conversations. I think I'm starting to really understand this idea of like, you're not for everyone. And in a positive way, like not like in a negative way, literally just like I'm not for everyone. So rather than trying to force a conversation or be in conversations that don't align with who I am, I gently have stepped back. So my whole thing is like if I'm constantly shrinking, then that's information. That means that that's not where I should be. So I've taken note and information. Where do I feel expanded? Um, and that's been quite major. Number four has I stopped treating discomfort as a problem, and I did mention that in yesterday's video. So some discomfort just means I'm adjusting, and not that like I'm wrong. And this one is also a good one. Um, is I stopped rushing the process. So, like the urgency to arrive or the pressure to prove that, like, I made it. I don't need to hurry in my becoming. I noticed that many things that I wanted to do was because I was thinking about the end result and I wasn't thinking about the process. So now it's like I'm in process and easily applying that to everything. Um, so if you're here, just for context, once again, I am an expat and a well-being coach, and a lot of my work is around supporting people through transitions like this. So if you are rebuilding and noticing your tolerance changing, it doesn't mean you're becoming difficult. It usually means you're becoming clearer and celebrate that. Definitely celebrate that because it's important. Once again, thank you for coming by, sharing. I hope you have an amazing time wherever you are in the world, and see you soon.